What's up, guys? We're back on the dyno bench again. This week, you guys have been waiting for it. I've been waiting for it. I finally got it on the bench. Taramps Smart8BASS. This is the one that's rated from 0.5 ohm to 2 ohms, 8,000 watts. It's supposed to combat rise. We'll see what it does on the dyno today. If you guys want to drop a guess now. Again, the Taramps Smart8BASS. Rated 8,000 watts from 0.5 ohm to 2 ohm. Let's see what it does. I'll catch you on the dyno in just a sec. Alright guys, here we are on the dyno bench with the Taramps Smart8BASS. It's rated 8,000 watts at 0.5 ohm, 8,000 watts at 1 ohm, 8,000 watts at 2 ohm, and it was 4,800 watts at 4 ohms, all at 14.4 volts. We're going to go through our testing today and see what it does. We're going to start with Certified, which is up to 1% distortion or clipping. Then the dyno will stop reading. It's clean power only. Then we'll run Uncertified, where the dyno doesn't stop reading. Clipping, distortion doesn't matter. And then we'll do Dynamic, which is a burst or dynamic test, where we play a 40 hertz pulse track to find the dynamic power of the amp. And we're going to do each of these from 4 ohms starting on down. So let's go ahead and get started with Certified. And like I said, these are rated 14.4 volts from Taramps. We're going to come in a little higher than that. I know it is what it is. We're at 15.47 volts starting. Again, rated 4,800 watts at 4 ohms. Here we go. Let's see what it does. All right, we got 4,452 watts into 4 ohms. We dropped to 15.1 volts. Not quite rated power. I imagine since there's no rise, that may have had something to do with it. I don't know. We'll keep going. 2 ohms, rated 8,000 watts. The fans on the amp did kick on there. We're at 15.4 volts starting. Here we go. Rated 8,000 watts. All right, not quite. We got 7,647 watts into 2 ohms. We dropped to 14.79 volts. It is what it is. We'll keep going. If I remember right, last time with the 5Ks, the base model didn't quite dyno as high. So we are at 1 ohm now, rated 8,000 watts, starting at 15.35 volts. Here we go. Okay, that time it definitely started to throttle. It didn't go into distortion. 7,700 watts into 1 ohm. Dropped to 14.79 volts. As promised, we will continue into sub-ohm territory. 0.5 ohm. Manual rates it at 8,000 watts. We're at 15.2 volts starting. Let's see what we get. All right, again, it started throttling the amp. We hit 7,188 watts into 0.5 ohm, dropping to 14.68 volts. We will continue with Uncertified. And we're going to start again with 4 ohms. We're at 15.4 volts starting. Again, this was rated 4,800 watts at 4 ohms. It didn't do it certified. Let's see what we get uncertified. Here we go. All right, a little bit of clipping there, 4,680 watts into 4 ohms. We still fell a little short. We will continue 2 ohms. We're at 15.35 volts starting. All right, little bit of clip. We got over 8,000 watts. We got 8,264 watts into 2 ohms. Dropped to 14.6 volts. So we will continue to 1 ohm. 15.3 volts starting. Here we go. Rated 8,000 watts. All right. And again, it throttled it a bit. 7,811 watts into 1 ohm. Dropped to 14.75 volts. And half ohm. Again, rated 8,000 watts at half ohm. We're at 15.23 volts starting. Here we go. All right, bit of throttling again. 7,247 watts into half ohm. Dropped to 14.59 volts. So we will now go into our dynamics testing. We're going to start with 4 ohms. We're at 15.4 volts starting. CMAX rebounded a little. Here we go. Rated 4,800 watts. And even on burst, doesn't quite do it. So we'll go back, try 2 ohms, rated 8,000 watts at 2 ohms. 15.35 volts starting. Here we go. All right, we get 8,129 watts into 2 ohms. Dropped to 14.74 volts. 1 ohm, again rated 8,000 watts at 1 ohm. 15.3 volts starting. Here we go. All right, there's the power you guys are all looking for. 11,844 watts into 1 ohm. Dropping to 14.9 volts. And we're gonna wrap up our dyno testing with a half ohm run at 15.2 volts starting. Here we go. It's rated 8,000 watts. And look at that. 15,609 watts into half ohm. Dropped to 15.04 volts. That is it for the Taramps Smart8BASS. I'll put up the summary in just a second, and I'll catch you guys back on the bench. See you in a few. Alright guys, we got the Smart8BASS on the bench. Get a better look at it. In case you didn't believe me, it's labeled Smart8BASS with a nice little sticker. And like the regular Smart8, it does have fans on both ends, although they look like different fans. Same fans as the regular Smart8, just different from left to right for some reason. But it does look beefed up from the previous 8Ks. You guys can definitely comment your thoughts. Let's take a look at this side. All the current 8Ks do have dual power and ground inputs, and these are 2-aught. We fit 2-aught welding cable in there pretty easily. Negatives on the outside, positives on the inside. There it says Smart Cooler. And on this end, you have an in and out RCA. You have your gain. You have your bass crossovers. So you have a high pass from 8 to 30 hertz, low pass from 60 to 200 hertz. You have an adjustable bass boost from 0 to 10 dB, adjustable frequency on that bass boost from 35 to 55 hertz. You got a plug for one of your Taramps remotes if you have one of those or you buy one. And then you have 8 gauge speaker outputs, maybe a 10 gauge or 12 gauge remote wire output. That is the Taramps Smart8BASS. So interesting, on the dyno, it did not quite make rated power on several of those runs, almost all of them. And I do remember that being the case with the Smart5BASS. For whatever reason on the dyno, it didn't keep up with the regular Smart5. But I do know in the lanes, people were still clamping good power out of the Smart8BASS. So maybe with a little rise, maybe in a real world situation, you know, you'll see something different. But hey, today's results are what they are. They're dyno bench results. Take them for what you will. So I want to thank you guys. That's all I have today. I want to thank you guys for watching, putting up with my rant. If you guys haven't given me a like, please hit the like button. If you guys haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Give me a share if you would. Hit the bell so you know when I post a new video. Thanks again, guys. I appreciate you. We'll see you again next week.